and welcome to our very first episode of 2 for 1 Tech, where my husband and I are planning to bring you lots of tips, tricks, and other helpful content related to the ServiceNow platform. In today's episode, I'm going to show you how a quick and painless way to do your initial branding of Employee Center. So let's get to it. Alright, I have a brand new fresh instance of ServiceNow Yokohama version running here. So the first thing I want to do is switch my application scope to Employee Center Core. Okay, and then we'll want to go to the Service Portal Configuration and then Branding Editor. And when you first land on this page for the first time, you're going to see that you're in the Service Portal. But that's not the portal we want to brand today, so we're going to do the drop down and switch over to Employee Center. All right. So first you may want to change the title of your portal to something different. I'm going to change mine to 2 for 1 Tech. And then you may want to upload a logo. And the recommended size here is 200 by 46. So I already had one created that I've got right here. You may need to go create one in Photoshop or something real quick. Okay. Now you can see mine has some white in it, and the background by default is already white, so you can't quite see everything here, but that's okay. We'll fix it in just a second. Then you can start playing with the padding if you need to move the logo up or down. So, if I want to make there a little bit more padding on the top, I could do that. Now, one thing I'm going to suggest is you may want to open another tab and actually have Employee Center open while you're doing this. It's a little easier to see what you're doing, what's changing, because while this is helpful having this preview here, it doesn't really show you everything that's going on. So next, you could change some of these settings down here. I've tinkered with this a little bit. I haven't really found where this tagline color is used. So, you can change it if you want. Okay, and then we'll click over to the theme colors, and this is where we can start doing meaningful updates. Okay, so first I'm going to change my nav bar background so I can actually see my logo. So I'm just going to change this to a blue color. Okay, now you can see that a little bit better. And then this divider here, this navbar divider, is this section right here. So I could leave it white, but let's change it to something different. I'm going to go with like a dark gray color. Okay, now you can see that it's a little bit hard to see when I change these to a darker color on both of these lines here, because the font is black. So this next one you can change those link colors to something different. So I'm going to change them to white just so it's a little easier to see. Alright, and that's looking a little better. And if I do this drop down, you can see the options here, and when you hover over it, it kind of changes colors. It's also changing the text to a different color when I hover over it, and that's this navbar link color. I personally like it to stay the same color, and obviously black doesn't work great here because it's already a dark background. So I'm going to change that to white as well. Okay. Then there's some more settings down here that you can tinker with and see what looks good for your particular situation. The main one I want to point out here, though, is this primary, and this is one that's carried throughout the whole portal. It's going to be like your main brand color. And since I've already got this blue color going on up here, I'd like to make that my primary color. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that here. And you'll notice now my button is this dark blue, and as you click through different parts of Employee Center, if you come out here, you'll start seeing that primary color is kind of represented in different places all around. Like if I favorite this right here. Okay, and then these are some other colors that you could put your, branding colors in, whatever works for your specific situation. The text color, is kind of what you see throughout here. I think I'm okay with this color that we've already got here, so I'm not going to change any of that, but you certainly change whatever you need to change to make it work for your branding. And then the last thing I want to mention with this is this link color here is kind of the link that you see kind of all over the page, where there's these numbers here And as you click around, you might see other links. And it's just that default link color that you see on most websites. And typically, you'd want to change this to be, something more representative of your brand. I have tried changing it to different colors, and it just doesn't seem to stick. I could come back tomorrow and it'll be right back to this 3C59E7 color. And even if I change it to something, crazy like red, it doesn't seem to affect anything. You can see even here, just in the preview, the link is still that blue color. And if I come over here and refresh, you'll notice none of the links are that red color. So there's something that's overriding that. So probably somewhere, in their CSS. So you could certainly dig into that and try to make those changes to get it to work. But I just want you to know that at least from this branding editor, this part may not work. Hopefully that's a bug that they'll get fixed at some point. But otherwise, I think just to get yourself a base branding done, this is a really easy way to do it. Doesn't require a lot of knowledge of CSS and how to manage all of that. But certainly you can start getting into that. ServiceNow allows you to change all kinds of things regarding the CSS. So you can get as complex with it as you want, but this is the nice and easy way. And then the last thing I want to show you is how to change this banner here. So for that, while you're in this branding editor, you can click on Designer up here at the top, okay? And then you want to go to the Employee Center homepage, EC_home. And then click on the banner itself, and then the pencil icon on the top right. And you'll see this message here that we're in the wrong application to do this editing. So I'm actually going to close this here real quick and go change to the Employee Center application scope. Okay, so now if we click on it, we don't get that error message anymore, and then we can upload a new background image. And I already created one. The recommended size is 1440 by 400, so I just created a basic background here that I'll upload. Click Save, and now that should be visible here. All right, and that's it. That's how you do just the basic easy branding on Employee Center. In future episodes, we'll work on working on the footer here. We can change the logo and address and stuff and all these links. We'll also work on branding the main ServiceNow portal itself and possibly like a knowledge portal, just so you can see how to do all of those different ways. They're slightly different between all of them. But this is at least a good first step. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be bringing you more content soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.